Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. We're back again. I told y'all we don't have an off season. We still working. We still in the kitchen and we still cooking. Um, this is a special episode. I'll give you two reasons why. A, it's only me and Art. But
Yes, sir.
B, we have a special guest. Guest, introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is Dannicol Matthew, and right now, I would say I'm an aspiring race car driver. So, yeah, just trying to make it to the likes of Raja Kruth and Brad Perez. Those are a couple guys that inspired me. So, just another brother trying to make it in the racing world.
Hear that, y'all? We got an up and comer. Now it looks like here you're in the right spot to be. You're down in Daytona. Um, Tell us, just tell us a little bit about you. What got you interested in racing? How'd you get to where you are now?
Well, I've always been interested in cars and stuff since I was a young, little boy. So, didn't really get into racing until I was around 9 years old. And I kind of started going to the homestead races with my dad. I'm from South Florida, so he took me there, and just the experience of being there and stuff. It made me realize this is definitely something I want to do in the future. So around a few years ago, kind of got me started in the go karts, and that's still where I am right now for financial reasons. But hopefully next year, I'm looking at opportunities for Legends cars. So.
So I have a quick question. So I feel like every driver that we hear, not just on us, but just in general, we hear the story where they get the itch to start driving, and there reaches a tipping point where they realize this doesn't have to just be a hobby. It can be something that they do. It's something they're passionate about. And every time the parents are kind of at a fork in the road where they're either all gun ho and they're all for it, or they're real hesitant and they try to talk them out of it and try to get them to play like basketball or baseball or something a little safer than racing. So like from your family side, what was that like, those conversations like when you realized, hey, this is something I seriously want to do?
Yeah, my parents were like that as well. They were just like, maybe this can just be a hobby for you, and
Mhm.
I was like, no, I want to be a driver. I want to be out there on the track. And I know my mom is still probably a little bit on the edge about it, but at the end of the day, both of my mom and dad, they support me, and they're going to support me through whatever decision I make, and they're for it. But right now, I think my main focus is like college, so that's what they want me to focus on. As parents, they're really big on education, so.
And so like for
Absolutely.
you as a younger driver, sorry, Jared, I was gonna just
Are you
ask,
good?
um, what is that like? Because I feel like I don't hear a lot of talk about as a younger driver what it's like balancing school, maybe trying to have a social life, and this big thing of a potential racing career. So like you just mentioned, you're balancing and working on the college stuff now. What was that like though for you, especially when you were younger, trying to fit all of these things into your schedule? Was that really hard, or did you just make it fall into place?
I mean, I try to work with it as best as I can. Back in high school, I took a lot of AP classes, so I did struggle in school for a bit, and that's when we had to kind of stop focusing on the racing and starting to get, a little bit more focused into education. So, especially now in college, but, right now I'm a mechanical engineering major, so, it's some pretty hard stuff, but, I'm trying the best I can, so right now I'm just saving up money for tuition, so I haven't gone racing in a bit, but I think I have a plan for what I want to do next year, and hopefully everything comes together.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was going to jump in and ask you what your major is, but mechanical engineering, that's definitely something that requires a lot of focus. So I can see where your parents were like, oh, hold on now, let's make
Right.
sure you get on the dean's list while you still trying to pursue this racing thing. But I figured, since you are in South Florida, you'll probably have a lot more warmth than we do here in the Mid Atlantic region. Um, when was the last time you were in a car?
I mean, honestly, it's probably about a year now since I've been in, I finished my freshman year of college this past summer, so that's kind of been the main focus. Yeah, it's been a while, but I'll be back later on this month for sure on track.
You
So
heard it here, folks.
based on the cars that you have driven, the cars that you have driven, is there a race, or a moment that is especially memorable for you? If you had to share one snapshot of your career thus far that people can look to and be like, this was me, when I was in my bag, or this is like me on my best day, that really stands out for you.
Um, Not quite in real life, but I think maybe in sim racing, probably there are a couple moments. You know,
Hmm.
got a couple of victories, so that I feel were pretty cool. It was pretty cool to run the. You guys know about the Moon Car 24, I assume, right? It was pretty
Hmm.
cool to run that last year, especially with the charity involved with it and everything. You know, I mean, I got screen time, not exactly in a good way. Kind of just bouncing back and forth between one guy who just kept running into me all night. But it's still pretty fun experience. So I'll never forget it.
Yeah, it's awesome. You definitely have to, like you said, take advantage of the opportunities you have when you get them. So I know you mentioned that you wanted to go Legends car racing. It seems like your next progression step. Is it something that you've run before? You've already sort of got a feel for the car, and sort of the tracks that you want to try and make some runs at.
I mean, besides iRacing, not yet. I've talked with a couple teams about testing, so hopefully I can go up to Northern Florida, go to the Citrus County Raceway, get a test in, and see how everything works out, and hopefully I can try to run a few races next year.
That'd be awesome, man. I'm definitely pulling for you. Like it's interesting just to hear, a racer that's not yet established, that doesn't have those connections. You're hungry, and you want to make an impact, which is definitely why we wanted to interview you, because it's not often where we see, someone trying to get through. We were blessed enough to interview, Brad Perez and Ryan Vargas. They're a little different spot in their careers, but they still have that hunger and that drive. What motivates you to continuing to want to pursue your career, even though you have the education thing, in one hand? What drives you to want to continue to pursue your dream as a race car driver?
Honestly, seeing guys like me go out there and succeed and show that's possible. People are always like, you have to come for money. It's for a certain type of people, and I think it's wrong. I think Brad Perez proved that he didn't come for money. He started racing pretty late as well. He started at 18, and look, he's made National Series starts. In Xfinity trucks. So I mean, if you could do it, I can do it. And I feel like if you really put your heart to it and you work hard enough, I think anyone can do it. Honestly, if you have the passion for it.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you mentioned Brad, who we absolutely love on the show. We think he's amazing. Are there any other drivers that you've looked up to that you consider to be role models, either now or even as a kid? Like when I was a kid, it's well documented on this show that Jeff Gordon was my guy, right? And like he was who
Yes,
I
sir.
would want to be if I was a race car driver. So are there any drivers that you looked up to and you were like, that's the person I want to be like?
Yeah, when I first got into the sport, it was Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson for me. Those were the two.
Ugh, we just I'm groaning because we just recorded yesterday and we talked about Jeff and Jimmy, and Jared had a conspiracy theory that I'll save for the episode, but it was involving Jeff and Jimmy, and it just brought up some bad memories as a 24 fan. The 2000s weren't as kind to us. I think I was born about 10 years too early, or too late rather, to appreciate it. But yeah, so I guess, to piggyback off of that, have there been any drivers that you've had a chance to interact with yet, whether it's either at the track, online, in iRacing or anything, or in the sim, that you've had any, good interactions with or experiences with?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've like Brad is kind of like a friend of mine. Like we were like kind of talked to him. I got advice from him a few years back, and I finally met him earlier this year. He's a cool dude. Uh, I've talked to like Nick Sanchez, and I remember Brandon Brown giving me words of encouragement a couple years back as well. And Yeah, I think there's a couple other guys as well. I know Jesse Uruji was pretty cool with trying to help me out. So there's just a few guys.
Yeah, you definitely making the right connections with the right people. I said that's a strong list right there. Um, a very strong list. So let's say you graduated college, you got your opportunity. Where would you like to be, in 5 years? What series would you like to be in? Who'd you like to be driving for? What does that outlook look like for you?
Realistically, hopefully in an ARCA or car or truck full time. Um, doesn't matter the team exactly. I would prefer it to be a good team where I can compete for top 10s, top fives, maybe if it wins. So I'll see where when I get there. To be honest,
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I feel like with someone with your drive, that's not, an unattainable goal. So hopefully, we get there. We definitely love having, people to root on. If you're driving the truck series in Arca, that'll make me watch it. I would be more invested, honestly, just because of the current product. Ooh, boy, that's a conversation for another day. But it'd definitely be good to
absolutely.
have another up and coming, black driver to root for. To your point, you don't have to have money, as we've seen, with some of the signings this year with silly season going on. Some raw drivers have been able to capture the right eyes, been in the right place at the right time, and if they don't necessarily have to have a sponsor backing them, the team is willing to make the chance and make the bet and put them in their car and just let the results show for themselves, and then that's how you sell yourself to get sponsorship. So definitely looking forward to um, speaking that into existence, even though Mercury's in the microwave or whatever they say is going on right now.
So yeah, to get us back on track, my question for you is there any tracks, maybe in the sim or even in a kart that you've raced that you just absolutely love that just seems to fit your driving style? And then the flip side of that, is there any tracks that you just absolutely cannot stand? That, like, if you see it on the schedule, you're rolling your eyes at it?
So my favorite tracks in the sim right now are, I'd say Homestead and Bristol are a couple. I feel like I get those tracks down pretty well. Um, Honestly, I think the flatter tracks are some of the tracks where I wouldn't exactly say I hate them, but I do have like a hard time figuring them out. Like the flatter ones, like Indianapolis and New Hampshire and Pocono. So, and I also feel like I would do pretty well in the super speedways, like navigating through the pack. So,
Trying to make sure that I stop sending my screens in 17 different directions. That's helpful. Um, do you? I would. Is it safe to assume that you're out of school? Your semester's over at this point. I know you had some plans to do some testing with some Legends teams. Is there anything else that you have, in between classes? Anything that you're really excited about to dive into?
um, not really. Just kind of looking forward to the Legends car stuff right now, and right now also as well as saving up money for tuition. So there's also that balance. And yeah, just kind of just been, I'm kind of into like the car scene and stuff, like outside of racing as well. So
Nice.
I've just been going to car meets, meeting new people. It's been pretty fun.
What a time to be alive, man! The good old days. You bringing me back down into my irresponsible years. I'll say it that way. It's a family friendly show. My irresponsible ways in the car scene. I've grown and I've changed my ways, but I can imagine that's probably a lot of fun down there where you are. I remember vividly going to Tampa for vacation one time and actively like seeking out where the car meets are in the hangouts, and there was this meet at Sonic, and I didn't like the clientele that they had there in the car, so I just got an apple juice slushie and just drove off. Um, is there a since we're just off the cuff now, what's your attainable dream car? You'd say if you hit the big time, you're a big time racing superstar. What's the first thing you buy when you get that check?
The Shelby GT350, honestly, it's my go-to. I'm a Mustang guy. I love Mustangs, so That's the one for me.
You hear that, Ford? You got somebody. You got one. He's a Mustang driver. I have to agree. It's just Mustangs have always been a near and dear in my heart. I feel like I'd share that same sentiment if I'd get rich somehow, some way. I'd probably find a low mileage 2000s Cobra R. I think that'll be my toy for the garage
Sweet.
that I drive every chance I get. Um, yeah, it's good to have car centered hobbies when you're aspiring to be a race car driver. I feel like it goes hand in hand. Safely though, don't break the law out on the
Yeah, of
streets.
Responsibly
course.
on a
Drive
track.
responsibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of cars, I actually want to go back for a sec because you had mentioned your major and the stuff you're studying in school. So I I guess my first question for that is just sort of uh, from the technical side that you're learning, because I feel like drivers are kind of in two camps where you've got some that are nowadays that are very, very technical, and they know all the ins and outs of how the car works. And then you have some other drivers that really go off feel. So like one extreme example is like Kyle Larson says, like, I don't know. I just trying to give some advice on how to make adjustments, but I don't know how it works, right? I can just give you feedback from the car. So I guess from your perspective is with your degree, I guess what I'm getting to is what sides of the engineering part of racing do you really enjoy, and then how much of that do you feel like you can actually apply once you get in a seat in the future?
I mean, back when, of course, before the next gen was here, and back when you could actually do like the fabrication part of it all, and just building the car from the ground up. Obviously, that's kind of gone now. It's still here with ARCA and trucks and Xfinity, I'm sure, and in the late models too. But that was really what I really liked enjoying, and stuff like that. And I feel like it'll apply pretty well. I know some teams, they definitely like drivers who know how to know what the setup does, can make the right adjustments based off of what they know and also what they feel on track. So you know, and I like volunteering to help out my teams as well, especially when I do get bigger into the racing scene. I do want to be one of those drivers that are more involved with actually helping on the car. I know that's a complaint that a lot of the older fans have, and I kind of agree with them. I feel like some guys should definitely learn how to work on their cars, and help them respect their racing more. For example, truck series, of course, how racing's there, and that's probably because some of those guys, they never really worked with tools, and they don't know, that you gotta respect their equipment, and they tear it up every week. So that's just my opinion on it. But
No, you're preaching to the choir here. I mean, if folks hadn't listened to our post Phoenix show, we kind of ripped the truck series a new one. Um, and I think it's deservedly so. So you're absolutely spot on as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because just think how invaluable that is. Having the background and being able to help with the car. I feel like that also helped Ryan Newman because he had an engineering degree from Purdue, so he could know what to do in the car, know what to do to fix the car, and then just by happenstance, him in the car helped make it safer with the improvements that I'm sure he helped with as well, relying on his degree to do things. So I definitely feel like with that mindset that you have, you're going to be an asset to the team that you land on because you understand the importance of keeping the nice stuff nice, but you're going to be able to easily relay what you need in the car, and that's probably going to absolutely guarantee you to be more successful on track because you can tell the crew chief or the car chief or whomever is making the adjustments exactly what you need out of the car in order to make it perform. So that's amazing to hear. I'm really glad to hear that. That's incredibly dope.
And I think it just makes you as an individual more valuable too, right? Like the more you
Right.
can do. I think Brad might have touched on that where he just finds work when he was at the track, and not only does it give you more value, but it gives you more exposure within the garage. I think, like to his point, like people see you working on the cars or helping out, like it just puts you in the right, not in the right mindset, but puts you in a good view in their eyes. And so I think that can only help your career, especially when you're a young driver that's still starting out, trying to get yourself established. Like those impressions can be so valuable.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Well, yeah, that's I think that's all I had on my docket for you, my friend. Is anything you want to leave us with? Anything you want to, where should we look forward to seeing you on track next? How can we support to ensure that you reach the career aspirations that you're looking to?
Well, I should be back just doing some just regular practice in the kart with my team, Risa Racing. And Risa was the team that helped Brad get his start in karts as well, with him being a South Florida local too. So, but I should be back on track with them around later December. I post GoPro. I have like another account. It's my racing account. It hasn't really been active in a while, but I'll try to get it back active. I have a GoPro on my helmet and everything. So I'm starting to like try to get into the marketing aspect of things, since that's a really big, important part of being a driver and marketing yourself. And I try to upload the footage on YouTube and stuff, and just get my name out there and I guess post the things that the people want to see. So.
Oh yeah, you got to sell yourself, right?
Absolutely, that's half the battle. Ask us how we know.
What's your ad? Sorry, I just want to say, what's your ad on for those channels so the folks know where to find you?
I got it. I was gonna lay it up for him. I got it.
Sorry.
It's right
Step
here.
on your toes. My fault.
You did. It's perfectly fine. So you can find this young man. His racing channel is D Matthew Racing. He is going to get it back live and back active. I scrolled through it earlier, watched some GoPro videos. Then his personal account is Dannicol Matthew on Twitter, because we still call it Twitter. So make sure y'all jump in, support this up and coming kart driver with aspirations of going National Series racing. Um, if you streaming on Twitch, something like that, give us a shout. We'll retweet you. I feel we do a really good job making sure that we do our part with all the guests that have taken the time to spend with us here on the show, to make sure we do our part promoting what you're working on as well, to help you gain the exposure, because you never know who's looking, and you never know what that one person might do or might be to help you, leap into, um, you know, your dreams. And also, we got to get you some scholarship opportunities as well, so you can spend some more time in the car. So yeah, that's where we can find you. What else you got, Art? Anything, or Donko? You got any famous last words for the fans out here in these streets?
Not really. Just if you're listening and you're like me as well, and you're just trying to make it in racing, just don't give up. I've had my times where I've gotten I've gotten a little like setback. I've had setbacks and whatnot, and mentally I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just stick to something else, or but I feel like if I don't give up on this and I really push myself to try and make it on track, make professional full-time racer, then I can do it. So just whatever you're going through, just I'm not sure if there's like any like Christians watching, but I know God has me. I know He has a plan for me. So, and I know He wants this for me. So He'll guide you through all your battles.
We ended on that. You can't top that.
Can't top that. Well, we appreciate y'all as always coming through, catching vibes. Thank you again, Donegal, for taking the time to spend with us. And we look forward to seeing you and supporting you on one track.
All right. Thank you guys for having me.
See you.
All right. You guys have a great night.